Good morning, class. So let us begin our day with a prayer. Miss Yap, please lead the prayer. Again, good morning, class. Okay, take your seats. Now, before we proceed, I will check your attendance. Alright, says here if your name is called. Yap James, Padilla Daniel, Bernardo Kat. Very good. No one is absent today. Before we proceed to our next topic, let us have a recall or a recap of your previous topic, which is the major classification of matter, right? Who can still remember what is the definition of matter? Anyone? Yes, correct. Matter is anything that occupies space and has mass, and it is around us. Now, what are the two major classifications of matter? Very good. When we say pure substance, that is composed of one type of atom or molecule. Also, it cannot be separated into its components by physical method. On the other hand, mixture consists of two or more pure substances and it can be separated into its components by physical method. Pure substances and mixtures are categorized, so mixture can be broken down into two. What are these? Who can still remember? Yes, right. Homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. How about pure substances? It can be classified into what? Yes, element and compound. And that is our topic today. But I want to ask, who among of you here is curious to read the list of ingredients that can be found in a certain food products? Anyone? Can you cite some examples of food products that we commonly use? Okay, the food that we eat contains many elements which are mostly nutrients that the human body needs in order to function well. Examples of these elements include calcium, magnesium, zinc, and iron. So what particular products are good sources in calcium, zinc, and iron? Can you give me an example? Correct. Dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese are the good sources of calcium, zinc, and iron. So the elements in food are combined with other elements, and the resulting compounds are referred to as minerals. An example of a commonly used mineral is sodium chloride, which is a compound made up of the elements sodium and chlorine. Sodium chloride is a very common food ingredient and it is commonly known as what? Yes, salt. Salt should be consumed in the right amount since excessive consumption may lead to kidney failure. It is very important that one reads the product labels where information about the content of the food is written. So we will learn more about its significance in relation to our topic today and how it is being used in our daily lives. Now, for our new lesson, our topic is all about elements and compounds. So we have three objectives to attain. First, describe what a compound is and how it differs from an element. Second, recognize that substances are classified into elements and compounds. Third, discuss the importance of elements and compounds in our daily life. Class, I want you to listen carefully because we will be having an assessment after the discussion, okay? For further understanding about this topic, let's begin our lesson. Class, are you familiar with the periodic table of elements? Okay. At present, there are 180 known elements. Of these, 92 occur naturally on Earth and the rest are synthetically prepared in the laboratory. So let us first discuss the element. What is element? Anyone? So element is the simplified form of matter which cannot be decomposed by ordinary chemical means. It contains only one kind of atom. So elements are further subdivided into metal, non-metal, metalloid, and we also have the noble gases. So these elements are categorized because of their electrical attribute. So what does it mean? So when we say electrical attribute, there are elements who will give or lose electrons. Also, there are elements who will acquire or receive electrons. Now, that particular element loses an electron, it will become positively charged, and that is what we call metal. They tend to lose an electron and become positively charged. So metals are typically found in the left side of the periodic table of elements, and usually they are conductive to electricity, malleable, shiny, and sometimes magnetic. So examples of metal are the aluminum, copper, gold, mercury, and lead. So when an element who acquires an electron, it means they are the one who received the electron, and they will become negatively charged, and that is what we called what? So another categorization of element. Yes, correct. Non-metals. They are typically found in the right side of our periodic table, and when we say non-metals, they are not conductive to electricity. They are also not malleable, dull, and not shiny, and they are not magnetic. So what are the examples of non-metal? So the examples of non-metal are carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus, and many more. So did you get it, class? Okay. What do you call an element who will give or loses an electron? Yes, correct. Metals. How about an element that acquires an electron? Ano to? Non-metals. So what about metalloid? Metalloid are non-metal and metal because they fall into two or between two extremes. An element that has properties that are intermediate between those metals and non-metals. So there are some characteristics of metalloid that are same with the characteristics of metal and non-metal. So we also have the noble gases. Unlike metalloid, which can be persuaded and can acquire or lose electrons, noble gases are already stable. Here are some chemical symbols of the elements used as abbreviations for their names. The names of the element have originated from a variety of sources. By international agreement, the names of chemical elements have been standardized for use throughout the world. So you may observe that sometimes symbols appear to be very different from the names of the elements. That is because their Latin or Greek names were used. Now let's proceed in discussing compound. We already discussed the element. How about compound? What is the difference between element and compound? Okay, a compound is a pure substance that can be decomposed by a chemical change into simpler substances with a fixed mass ratio. Compound always have more than one kind of atoms, unlike the element that there is only one type of atom. We can divide compound into element by chemical means. For example, if one atom of carbon combines with one atom of oxygen, the resulting compound is carbon monoxide, which is poisonous gas. Another example, if one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen combine, the resulting compound is carbon dioxide. So this is the gas that is used by plants for making food. Another example is the water or the H2O, meaning there are 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Also, we have the sodium plus chlorine. So we have the sodium chloride or the NaCl. Another example of compound is the ammonia or NH4. So there is 1 nitrogen and 4 hydrogen. Always remember that compound is a combination of more than 2 elements or atoms. Any clarifications? Nasabta na ba? Sure, good. Okay, we will have an activity. Group yourselves into 5. So, I have 10 cards here containing the names of an element and compound. So, what you're going to do is to arrange and place these cards on the designated column, either an element or compound. Okay? So, I will give you 5 minutes to do the activity. Okay, class, time's up. So, based on what you have observed in the activity and discussion we had done previously, now I have a question for you. So, how could you describe the difference between elements and compounds? So, just raise your hand if you want to answer. Yes, JV? Very good. Give me an example of element that we used in our daily life. How about an example of compounds that are necessary in our daily life? Very good. Pure substances can be classified into elements and compounds. So many elements and compounds are useful in our daily lives. So our body needs traces of elements to stay healthy. So many elements and compounds are used in industries vital to economy. For your activity, okay, get 1 whole sheet of paper and answer the following questions. Then for your assignment, what you're going to do is to research the products and its uses of the following substances. So that ends our topic for elements and compounds. Goodbye, class. See you next meeting.